feeling low.
Hello there, my lemon slices, and welcome back to the Lemonade Stand, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brianna. I am a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a RD2B. That means registered dietitian to be, because I'm still in school. So we're here for a fun time. Today's video is going to be completely unscripted, which is not something that I do. But I thought it would be fun and interesting to just kind of watch and react to... That was a drum roll. Brittany Dawn's response. She finally made a public statement in regards to her lawsuit where the whole fucking state of Texas sued her for basically scamming people out of money. I'll talk about it more after I'm done rolling the intro. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education, and some snark, and some dry sarcasm along the way, hit that subscribe button and join the Lemonade Stand. We would just really love it if you showed up here. All right, without further ado, let's make some lemonade. Okay, so I'm gonna just recap really quick. A lot of you probably know who Brittany Dawn is, but for some of you who don't, I'm gonna recap the best I can, and I say the best I can because I don't have a script. And if I don't have a script, I tend to run my mouth. So I'm gonna try my best and say what I need to say without talking too much. Brittany Dawn is a social media influencer who was once very popular in the fitness influencing genre, and she has now turned in the last couple of years to I don't know, faith preaching, Christian preaching. She's, you know, she's a good little Christian girl. That's the kind of stuff that she shares now. Now that stark right turn into being a good Christian girl, Christian preaching kind of blah blah, that came right around the time where she was facing a lot of scrutiny and was under fire for basically, she had fitness programs and she claimed that they were customized programs, and basically, super duper long story short, it came out, she held herself out as somebody who could help people overcome eating disorders. She has no such education or qualifications that would qualify her to help people like work through eating disorders. She took on clients, she took people's money. The exchange was supposed to be for custom fitness plans, but it would later come out that nobody's plans were custom. She was basically just giving everybody cookie cutter plans, that she wasn't giving people refunds. Some people only got partial refunds. Some people had to sign an NDA. It turned into a whole big thing, and basically, I think it was a couple years ago, Attorney General Ken Paxton at the time of the state of Texas filed a lawsuit against Brittany Dawn for things such as violating the DCPA. I cannot remember all the stuff off the top of my head. She violated like deceptive marketing, something for misleading people and making them believe that she could help them overcome eating disorders, for making promises of custom programs, but they weren't really custom, and just like taking people's money. And then the other crappy thing about that too was she made several $1,000s, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, in her offering of customized fitness programs for people, didn't deliver. And then during this whole time, I think there was one point where she was like on vacation in Hawaii and people are like, you haven't given me back my like $200-300. What are you doing? So I hope I did a decent job getting up to speed. It's been a couple years since all that transpired. Now I feel like we're too dark. You know, the lighting is weird today. It's gonna be rainy and gloomy just all week here where I am. So the lighting, every video I'm gonna film this week is gonna have super weird lighting. So I'm sorry. I know a lot of you guys just don't even care, but it makes me self-conscious, so I'm sorry. Anyway, to most of us who have been following the saga of Brittany Dawn, it was very obvious that she just kind of took this sharp turn into like no more posting about fitness, and now she posts all about Christian things. And I keep saying Christian things. I don't know what Christian things are. Can you tell I'm an atheist? She shares Bible verses and stuff, going on and on about how, oh, hookup culture is bad. Just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, she finally uploaded a video last week. It is titled, "Breaking My Silence, I Was Sued by the State of Texas." Because at this point, the lawsuit has been finalized and things have been settled. And I believe the figure that she is now set to pay is, I think it's $400,000. Let's double check. Let's go to the Google machine. Yeah, according to WFAA.com, Brittany Dawn is to pay $400,000 as part of her settlement. Brittany Dawn Davis settled with the state after being accused of scamming thousands of customers by not delivering fitness and nutrition plans. An agreed final judgment shows that after settling with the state North Texas influencer, Brittany Dawn Davis has to pay $400,000 in penalties and restitution. Davis had settled in May after the state accused her of scamming thousands of customers by not delivering fitness and nutrition plans. The total payment is broken down into to $300,000 in civil penalties and $100,000 in restitution. The judgment states that she has to pay the civil penalties and restitution within the next 3 years. The $131,320 in attorney fees levied against her will not become due and payable unless Davis fails to comply with the permanent injunctions levied against her. Okay, so I was just reading part of a news article. I'll link it below. So yeah, that's where we're finally at. And also, I don't know why I didn't start off by saying this. When it came out that she was getting sued, I made a video about this. I will link my video below. It was a couple years ago at this point. And I basically talk about everything from start to finish. I talked about everything, like even her husband, how he was like, he used to be a police officer in Kansas City, Missouri, I believe it was. And this was back in the early 2010s, I want to say. He brutalized a citizen who they were attempting to apprehend, who was listening to him and following his orders. I didn't show the clip because the full clip is pretty graphic, but I showed like screen grabs of the clip. Yeah. So her husband is, you know, in my opinion, kind of a piece of stool too. So yeah, let's watch this. She's breaking her silence. Bumping it up to 1.25 speed. Oh, and just so everyone knows, I have only watched like the first maybe 30 seconds of this. So my reaction is going to be completely blind. I have not seen this entire video.
Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, because this is probably the hardest video I'm ever gonna film. I have Jordan here just for moral support. Really no other reason than that. Because
oh, moral support. Excuse me, ma'am. I ordered a public statement. I did not order a public statement with the side of police brutality. We have dark humor here, just so everybody knows. If that's not for you, that's fine. But I'm just gonna let you know, I prefer to laugh than cry.
You guys probably know by the title of this video what this is about. I'm here today to give full context. First, to take full responsibility for where I went wrong, for the mistakes that were made, where I messed up, but also to give full context to this lawsuit, how my business started, where things went wrong, and how everything came about and ended in being sued by the state of Texas at 28 years old. And I'm gonna try not to get emotional.
Quite an accomplishment.
Not promising anything, because at the end of the day, I'm human. And this has been the hardest 4.5 years of my life that I have had to keep quiet and live in secret, because I was not allowed to speak up. I was not allowed to say anything about this.
Yeah, a lot of people I observed kind of gave her crap for, oh, why aren't you addressing it, blah, blah, blah. I assumed that her public discussions about it were restricted, as she just confirmed they were, which makes sense. I mean, like, whenever legal stuff is going on, a lot of times, like, I don't know, it's not uncommon for, like, when legal stuff is happening, people involved have to remain quiet about it, especially when speaking publicly.
I'm going to take you guys back to 2012. Before I do that, though, I do want to say that I am so sorry for anyone that was genuinely hurt by this. It was never my intention to harm anyone. I started a business when I was young, and it blew up and became something that I never could have seen coming. And because of that, and because of my arrogance and just being dumb, for lack of better words, being prideful and not asking for help, things happened and things slipped through the cracks. But nothing was ever done maliciously, and everything is done with as of April 25th.
I do believe her when she says nothing was done maliciously. I do believe that. Like, I don't believe she was ever like, yeah, I'm gonna tell people that I can help them recover from eating disorders and then not help them recover from eating disorders. I do believe her when she says that she didn't do anything maliciously. But there were still intentional choices made. I mean, like, she could have refunded people when people wanted their money back when services weren't delivered. So maybe she wasn't trying to be malicious, but, like, I don't know, it's not hard to right your wrongs. You know what I'm saying?
I was in college, and I remember just not having any confidence, being super insecure. I had low self-esteem, and seeing all the girls on campus that were so bubbly and outgoing and just confident in their skin. And I wanted that. And so I went on this journey in college after hitting a somewhat rock bottom, and ended up losing weight, had a drastic transformation, which I will put here on the screen so you guys can understand what that was.
She looks totally
That was also
different.
kind of when Instagram started. So I remember I had shared these photos on my Instagram.
I mean, I could believe that. I think a lot of people, a lot of fitness Instagram influencers kind of get into it because they're just sharing their journey. But then something that happens is they start posting a lot of things that are really like, oh my God, wow. Like her before and after pictures, like those that she just showed, those were unbelievable. She looks completely different. She doesn't even look like the same person. And you can tell she's lost weight, obviously. She's a lot more lean. what's a common goal for a lot of people? A lot of people want to lose weight. A lot of people don't know how. A lot of people want to be told how. I don't know. I feel like that's not unusual that like she posted she's sharing her journey, and like to her, yeah, she's just sharing her journey. But people who are in a position that she was in, who were desperate to change, they see that and they're just like, oh wow, I'm going to do what this person does. And then, you know, from there, a business gets started. And
I never had the intention of starting a business. I never knew that a business could even come of that. Like, that was literally Instagram first became a thing.
Should have just let her keep talking.
And I just remember some of my posts going viral back then.
I remember that.
Asking like, hey, we have similar body types. How did you get there? What did you do? Like, I would love to reach this point. And so I just started sharing my journey. 2013, I was at home in my apartment. So I got this idea to start a website, not knowing what would come of it. My business took off. I mean, it became a 6-figure business within the first year. Within 7 years, it surpassed, you know, well over $1 million in revenue. And
well over $1 million in revenue. Holy shit. See, this is a very good, and I said this at the end of my Brittany Dawn video, I feel like this is a really good example of what happens when we platform people and put people on a pedestal because of how they look physically. People were intrigued and enticed by working with Brittany Dawn because of her before and after pictures. I mean, that sounds mean to say, but I really believe that. Whenever people have an amazing physical transformation, they lose a lot of weight, they look completely different from how they used to look, that's enticing to a lot of people who are really desperate to change. And I think from there, I feel like this is like the Instagram fitness influencer playbook. Like, she posts an amazing before and after photo that's really drastic, and it's just like, wow, oh my God, how did she do that? And then she said, I got the idea to start a website. So I started a website. I didn't even plan to start a business, but like, it just kind of happened, and like, here I am. And I know a lot of people might hear that and be like, oh, how can you say it just happened? Part of me actually kind of believes that. I feel like that happens to a lot of influencers. They're just like, I'm just here sharing my journey, and this person wants to pay me $500 to coach them. And obviously the money is very enticing to a lot of people. So
I was young. I was a pre-vet student, like animal science degree. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't know anything about owning a business.
Then why'd you start a business? Why'd you start a business?
It just happened so fast. I remember it felt like a blur. I was naive. I had no idea how to manage this business that was now being placed in my hands. And because of that, I didn't ask for help. I didn't know that I could ask for help. I was prideful in a sense of, well, if it needs to be done, I'll just do it myself. I just wanted it done the right way.
I feel like this comes off as I'm like empathizing with her a lot. I'm not. I think what she did was reprehensible, but I do want to just add that I can see that. I can kind of see, I don't know, I understand that comment just now where she said, I just wanted things done right, so I did it myself. I'm like that myself. I could hire an editor. And I actually do have people that I could reach out to edit my videos, people that are friends, but part of me is still apprehensive because I'm just like, only I know what I like. You know what I'm saying? I hope that didn't come off as like mean or anything like that. It's not that other people are just dumb. It's just kind of like, I don't know. The way I describe it is that that's just me being anal. That's just an anal part of my personality. Like, I'm kind of the same way. But at the same time, I don't bite off more than I can chew. And I think what happened with Brittany Dawn is she bit off way more than she could chew. And she didn't spit it out. She just kept on putting more shit in her mouth and just kept on trying to chew, and then eventually she choked. Oh my God, did I just like come up with a new metaphor? Analogy? I don't know.
So in 2019, there was a prank video that was put on YouTube. That person portrayed themselves as a father of a client of Brittany's.
I saw that video.
Flew out to LA, where she was the face of a booth for the LA Fit Expo. And that person approached her and caught her off guard and accused her of scamming his daughter.
My dad has always taught me that if you don't know what to say in the heat of a moment, it's better to not say anything than to say something you'll regret. And now looking back, that's biblical. I wasn't living for Christ then.
There it goes. There's Jesus. Is it biblical, or is that just like human decency?
And so that's what I did. And of course that came off as she's being silent because she's guilty, and the internet just completely manipulated that entire situation. He was very abrasive. I mean, he humiliated me. Pretty soon after, like the next week, that video went live.
The video perpetuated a false narrative that that Brittany was a scammer and that she was a fraud and defrauded people intentionally.
But was it a false narrative though? I never heard about that video being a prank. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Like I said, this video of mine that you're watching right now is unscripted. I haven't done any prior research. I mean, I have on Brittany Dawn, but not before, like not recently. So I don't know. Maybe that video is a prank. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. But he said, Jordan just said, who I thought was only here for moral support, by the way. Why are you talking? He just said that the video like portrayed her incorrectly as a scammer. But like she was just recently, like she was actually sued by the state of Texas. So how can you say that it's an incorrect portrayal? She was taking people's money and promising them a service, not delivering that service. Like that's kind of what a scam, like I thought that's like the cornerstone of a scammer. You give me your money, but then I don't give you the thing that I promise. I just scammed you.
There was never any proof that she intentionally defrauded someone or scammed them. This was a simple situation of business outgrowing its capabilities.
Well, and me again, like I messed up. I didn't hire on people. I didn't hire on help. I didn't ask for help. It was never my intention to hurt anyone. I wanted to help women.
I'm sure that's true in the beginning. I'm sure that's true for a lot of these influencers who like start their fitness influencing online training businesses. I'm sure that is true at its core. They want to help people. It's just, I don't understand why it's so hard to just have integrity these days. Like I have a very small personal training business. I don't have any clients right now. I'm actually about to open back up for training for one client, because that is all that I know I'll be able to manage over the next couple months. I'm not in school, but I'll be preparing for something that I haven't told you guys about yet. That's very exciting. But I know when I started my training business a couple years ago, I only accepted up to 3 clients. That was my limit because school was in full swing at that point. I was a graduate student and that was all I could manage. I just would never feel good about myself taking on 20 clients and then just giving everybody the same cookie cutter plan. First of all, that's not custom workout. So I can't advertise that it's custom. That's false advertising, which is, I mean, against some kind of, Federal Trade Commission, that's against some kind of law or regulation. And then also just like, I don't know, I have integrity. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that I was taking people's money and giving everybody the exact same thing while saying it was customized.
And I did help women. I had over 5,000 clients.
Oh my God.
5,500, something like that. Over 5,500 clients.
5,500 clients. Okay, at that point, those are not your clients. Those are customers, okay? I guess you could say a client is a customer, but whenever I think, I've been a trainer for, how long have I been a personal trainer? I don't know, 7, 8 years. I've been good at it for about the last couple. Whenever I have a client, I have a personal relationship with that client. You spend so much one-on-one time with a client, and this is not just personal training. Are you an interior designer? You have clients, I don't know, like people who landscape, like if you work in landscaping, you have clients whose homes you regularly visit. I feel like using the word client means it's a personal relationship. You have discussions with them, you grow with them to give them and work with them personally one-on-one to eventually be able to give them what they want. That's the trainer-client relationship. Brittany Dawn is one person, and she just said 5,500, 5,000 clients, 5,000 people. One person cannot give 5,000 or 5,500 people their full undivided attention. You just can't. They're not a client at that point. And I cited this in my video. There were reports of people who had paid her to work with her for training. They would send her an email asking like a detailed, genuine question, and they would get back some cookie cutter response that was like clearly probably copied and pasted. That was like, you go girl. And then they'd be like, but I asked a question though, and you didn't answer my question.
It was never my intention, because where there were hundreds that didn't get what they paid for, there were thousands that did, and they loved the program.
There should be no one who doesn't get what they pay for. And if somebody doesn't get what they pay for, you as a small business owner need to give them back their money and do right by them.
I was burnt out. I wasn't asking for help. I wasn't hiring help, and I very well could have, because I had the income to do so. And when everything happened in 2019, there's so much that people didn't see that I couldn't talk about. I was scrambling behind the scenes to refund women that didn't get what they paid for. There were people who were photoshopping receipts, who were never paid clients of mine, who saw the viral video and then Good Morning America, that never knew who I was previous to all this media and all the spotlight attention. And suddenly they were photoshopping receipts, and I was refunding them because I believed them, because they were...
Wait a minute. So people who were never clients of yours were photoshopping receipts, and then she was refunding them because you believed them. You didn't keep any books. You didn't keep any records to let you know that they weren't a client of yours, that they weren't a customer of yours. That doesn't make any sense. You're not refunding at that point. You're just giving strangers money. You didn't have any records that would let you know that they were at some point a paying customer. I don't understand that.
The business was growing so fast and there were so many clients coming on board that she couldn't keep up with who
I didn't have systems.
And that's exactly why I personally put a cap on the amount of clients that I take, because first of all, if I didn't give a shit about giving people actually customized quality fitness plans and like one-on-one time, then I wouldn't put a cap on the amount of clients I took, and I would just leave my website. Right now, if you go to my website, all of my my training plans all say sold out, and that's an intentional move. It's because when I'm not taking clients, I mark it all as sold out so that nobody can sign up for a plan, right? And I cap myself at the amount of clients I take at a time, because for the amount of money that you're paying me, I'm promising you a service, and I'm going to give you that service, and I'm not going to half-ass giving you that service. So he was just like, well, people just kept signing up. So put a cap on it. You have that power to do that. It's not hard.
It's different because it's not a physical product. Like all of my products were digital, and well, things were mailed out, like t-shirts and merch and stuff, but like the actual plans were never mailed out. And so, yeah, it was just a really...
As a business owner, how do you get your product back?
You can't when it's the digital goods.
You can't.
And so...
Okay, so my business is effectively the same as Brittany Dawn's business. My training business is virtual. On my website, all of my ebooks are ebooks, so they are virtual. I have a no refunds policy, and most people who offer a virtual service like this have a no refunds policy, and that does make sense, because like once you pay me for a plan and I say, okay, I'll have your plan ready by, I don't know, next Wednesday or something, and I work on your plan and you give me all your information and I work to customize it and make it completely yours, and then I send it out to you, and then they say, I want a refund. The work has already been done. I've already put in the effort, time, and energy to make this plan for you. I can't just give you a refund. You paid me money and this is the service. Like, I'm sorry if you don't want it anymore, but I can't give you a refund because I can't undo the work that I did to put this together for you. So I do understand that. Now, there are extenuating circumstances where myself, and I know a lot of people who have virtual product, like virtual trainers, may do a refund. But those are like super extenuating circumstances. And then the other circumstance I can think of is giving somebody a refund without question is if they don't get the service that they're promised. I mean, is that even a refund? That's just giving them their money back. Usually people have contracts. I have training contracts. If I promise you a service, and then if I don't deliver on that service, if I never send you your plan, then I feel that you are entitled to have your money back. That's why it's important too, where I would always say whenever I have a new client, okay, your plan will be ready in 5 days, 10 days, whatever, however long I say, because it's unfair to the paying client to accept their money and then say, okay, I'll have your plan ready eventually. Like, no. They paid for a service and you need to give them that service. You need to deliver on the service. If it's going to be customized, it's customized.
Someone started a petition called Stop Brittany Dawn Fitness Scams. And to give you guys context as to the cancel culture mentality, the bandwagon mentality behind this, 15,950 people signed that petition. That was like as of last week, I checked. I had a little over 5,000 clients. So that is 2/3 of people who never worked with me, who probably didn't even know who I was before this. And that is why, ultimately, the state of Texas opened up a lawsuit.
I mean, I've never worked with her, and I would, if I had seen that petition, I would still sign it. People don't like scammers, and people don't like getting scammed.
They opened up an investigation. The state of Texas has the ability to bring criminal charges against someone should their actions warrant criminal charges. Yeah. It was determined early on that none of this was done maliciously. Mm-hmm. So the folks out there that think that Brittany's going to jail.
Let's read this. Defendant Brittany Dawn Davis admits wrongdoing but was overwhelmed by the unexpected number of customers who purchased programs from her website. Defendants claim their failure to provide all services that were ordered was due to the volume of consumers. While defendants admit wrongdoing, they maintain that at no time did defendants fail to provide services due to any malicious intent. Did people really think that she was going to go to jail for this? I never thought that. I'm glad she's faced actual consequences, but I never thought she would go to jail. I mean, it's not a crime what she did. I mean, I get it's not like a go to jail kind of crime is what I'm trying to say.
So anyways, that opened up state of Texas suing me at 28 years old. 4.5 years. It's finally over with as of April 25th. So after a 9-hour mediation, we came to a settlement agreement of $531,000.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I just read from that website. Texas shall have judgment against defendants, which is Brittany Dawn, jointly and severally in the total amount of $531,320 as follows: $300,000 in civil penalties pursuant to DTPA section legal jargon blah, $100,000 in restitution pursuant to DTPA section blah, and $131,320 in attorney's fees. What's DTPA? Let's figure out what that is. Oh, this is what I was saying earlier, but I couldn't remember it. Deceptive Trade Practices Act. That's what it was, because she was I believe what she did was in violation of that, in violation of the DTPA, Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Okay.
There has been absolutely just ridiculous false narrative spread about her lack of cooperation with the state of Texas, failure to produce documents and all of this stuff, and none of that could be further from the truth. There was full cooperation.
Yeah.
So
I remember, it's not on YouTube anymore, but you know who uploaded a video reacting to it? One of the people, Isabella Lantern. I think she has a video actually reacting to this video that I'm watching right now. But I think Isabella Lantern she reacted to Brittany Dawn's, what was it? I can't remember what it was. It was a Zoom call and they uploaded it to YouTube. Brittany Dawn and her lawyer was they were requesting an extension from the judge because they were like trying to get documents and stuff together. And to be fair, it didn't seem like they weren't cooperating, but I did remember watching it and thinking like, why do you need more time? Like, you've had all this time. I think one reason why it was taking so long was because like PayPal had like locked her out of her account or something like that. It was something like that. The Zoom recording of this sit down is no longer on YouTube, but I believe Isabella's video is still up. So if it is, I'm gonna link it below and you guys can watch it.
I can confidently sit here today and say that I've learned from this hard lesson. I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned from my errors. I don't know what the future looks like, but I know that from this moment forward, this is in the past. I don't say it lightly when I say that the last 4.5 years of my life have been a living hell, and it's time for it to be brought to the light. There have just been some awful things that have been done to us that have all stemmed from hate threads, from people that just don't like us for whatever reason, and
people who don't like us for whatever reason. Oh man, I have no idea what reason would people not like you guys. Well, I can think of a couple reasons right now why people might not be so fancy on you guys. First of all, she took a lot of people's money and didn't deliver on a product or service. That's pretty messed up. And then I believe Jordan, her husband, he was in the news when that whole thing happened where he was attempting to apprehend a potential suspect. He definitely used what I feel like could be considered excessive force. Like, the guy was just standing there. The whole body cam is on. The footage is online still, I believe, last time I checked. So, I mean, I don't know. That might be one other reason why people don't like you.
I'm sorry. I've learned from my mistakes. But from this moment forward, I'm moving on. This is in my past. I have every right to move on. It's been almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in January next year. I didn't scam anyone. I didn't fraud anyone. I'm not a scammer. I'm not a fraud.
Wait a minute.
I'm not a grifter.
Hold on. Wait, what? Hold on. I'm not. Wait a minute. Let's look up the definition of scammer. What is a scammer? A person who commits fraud or participates in a dishonest scheme. Scammers are preying on people's good intentions. RemertonWashington.gov. A scam is any means someone uses to get you to part with your money. It's not always easy to spot a con or a scam artist, but scammers know how to get around our better judgment. I don't know. Maybe a scammer is somebody who's more like knowing what they're doing. And again, I do believe that Brittany did not do everything she did with the sole intent to take people's money and just run away with it. It's my opinion that she was not being malicious. So, I mean, maybe in that respect. She's like, I'm not a scammer, but you promised a product or service and then didn't deliver on that product or service. And then when people were wanting their money back, like I'm surprised, maybe there's still like a minute and a half left of this, 2 minutes. She didn't mention the whole NDA thing. Some people were made to, and I mentioned this in my video, and this is documented in plenty of places. Some people were asked to sign NDAs before they got their refunds. And I don't know. I just think NDAs are sometimes I just think that's just so scummy. I do understand NDAs in certain situations, but in this situation, like, why don't you want people to talk about your experience? Is it because you know it was a negative one and it'll make you and your business look bad?
Done tolerating being called that by people online, by news headlines, by articles, by other YouTubers, by other people on TikTok who are really just ultimately chasing this story for clout, because at this point it's become a clickbait title.
This is something that I didn't think of while I was in the middle of filming this video. I thought of it over the last couple days after I got done filming this video, and I just kind of want to drop it in right now. This is a good point too. So she just said that people are just using my name for clout and stuff like that because it's just a clickbait title. There's a couple of reasons why it annoys me when people involved in controversy say things like this. In my opinion, I think she and people like her in a similar situation where they're surrounded by some kind of controversy, I think they're just saying that to placate themselves and make themselves feel better about the controversy that they're surrounded by. Brittany Dawn is not just some person. She's some person that did some pretty awful things. She's some person that did something disingenuous in taking people's money and not providing a service that was promised. I think, and especially when it comes to like someone being disingenuous, whether you want to call them a scammer or, a fraud or whatever, in my opinion, something like that needs to be reported on so other people will know. Because of all the reporting on Brittany Dawn, now everybody knows about it, and people thankfully stopped giving her their money, for the fitness stuff they did. Now she's on to a new way to take people's money. An example I can think of right now is the Illuminati controversy right now. I don't know if anybody's been following it. I actually have. I don't usually, but the reason I am is because I was a fan of Illuminati. If not for commentary channels, and people reporting on it, making videos and making content about it, I would not know that, and I would still be supporting a YouTuber who, in my opinion, is a garbage human being. Are there a lot of people who just make videos about somebody who's controversial for clout and for views? Yeah, sure. First of all, no YouTuber in the history of YouTube has ever said, boy, I don't want more views. I don't want more ad revenue. The goal of uploading is to get views to your content, right? Because that means more money and more ad revenue. And I do believe there are people that are just capitalizing on it. Like I've seen some channels that have like a few hundred subscribers and their videos were barely getting any views. Then they upload a video with Illuminati clearly in the thumbnail, and then their videos all of a sudden are getting thousands of views. Sometimes people are not reporting on things for the right reasons to get the word out. Sometimes people are just doing stuff like that for views. But people are not talking about Brittany Dawn for no reason. There's a reason people are talking about her, because what she did was disingenuous and dishonest, and a whole goddamn state sued your ass. They didn't just sue you for no reason. People are reporting on that. So that's my take on you're just using me for views. Shut the fuck up.
I'm so proud of how I've handled myself, how I've carried myself with such grace through this fire. I wouldn't have made it through the fire without smelling like smoke if it wasn't for my relationship with the Lord. I'm unashamed to...
And there it is, my relationship with Jesus. Jesus got me through this, okay? But didn't Jesus theoretically put you in that situation, though? I've talked about my religious opinions, or should I say lack thereof. I am an atheist, and I sometimes walk the line of agnosticism. Yeah, I just don't buy it whenever people are like, oh, God will get me through this. Well, didn't God put you in that situation? But also, personal responsibility, too, though, right? Like, you can't just blame it all on God.
I'm genuinely sorry. And I'm moving on. This will be a 5-part series, possibly 6 parts in case this video becomes 2 videos. This is the beginning of some pretty intense conversations that I am ready to have, as hard as they are. So, okay, well, we'll see you guys in the next vlog.
Bye. Oh, well, there it is. I want to read some comments under this video. I've kind of peppered in all my thoughts throughout the video as we were watching it, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna read some of these comments before I like officially say goodbye here. Lily Tyler said, why did you block and ignore your customers? That wasn't just a mistake. What happened? That happened for years. You hurt people and made them feel used. Yes, that was another thing. She allegedly blocked people who like made comments on her social media posts who were like saying things like, hey, where's my money? While I was filming this reaction, I completely forgot that that was something that is alleged to have happened. That was another thing where, though I think this is my opinion, this whole video is my opinion, I don't believe that that act in itself was, ha ha ha, I'm going to do this because I'm going to be a bad person. I feel like her allegedly deleting comments and blocking and ignoring people who were like calling her out about her behavior, I feel like her doing that was her way of just trying to make it go away and not necessarily being malicious, if that makes sense. That's just my take. Katie Barber said, I have conflicting feelings about Brittany. This is not hate, but genuine questions. I never knew her as a fitness influencer, only as a Christian influencer. But when I saw a negative comment on a video and Googled her, I was taken aback. It made me question. I looked for her testimony to see her side. All right, my camera officially died, but I want to keep on reading some of these comments, so I'm letting my microphone keep going. Anyway, I looked for her testimony to see her side, which I'm excited to see, but what rubs me wrong is the radio silence, then rebrand and selling another product, the retreats, as a Christian influencer. To be fair, we did get her an explanation for the silence. In her defense, I think it's plausible and it makes perfect sense. You know, you can't always talk about legal proceedings as they're happening. But yeah, she completely rebranded and now she's basically doing the same thing that she was doing as a fitness influencer, just with another product. And this product is Jesus. Okay, Penelope Q says, lawyer here. Hey girl. I remember when this first was flagged years ago and I had a feeling it wouldn't end well. I have to comment because this video just rubs me the wrong way and is spreading misinformation. I would never let a client of mine make a video like this, but I get it. You spent big bucks on them, so that's probably all that matters to them at this point. First of all, the AG, Attorney General's office, doesn't prosecute just any case. Their investigation must warrant evidence enough to proceed against you. Absolutely. I've encountered so many cases that should be undertaken by the AG's office and never is. It's difficult to get anything through them. Second, yes, you can settle a criminal charge outside of court. It's called a plea. Your case was a civil case. 99% of cases in the U.S. settle before trial. It's really not unusual and says nothing about your innocence. Settlement doesn't mean you're liable. Doesn't mean you're liable, doesn't mean you're not either, though. The settlement usually makes no findings and neither side admits fault. It's a settlement period. I've defended several deceptive business practice suits, and my experience is that it's a very difficult claim to prove. I'm not licensed in Texas, but most deceptive business practice statutes in the U.S. are similar. It has a very high threshold. Attorney's fees and civil penalties pursuant to this kind of claim also says a lot. Your attorney must have encouraged you to settle because they felt you could very likely be found liable for way more by a jury if the case went to trial. In other words, the amount of the settlement says a lot about the strength of the evidence against you. Oh, that's a good point. I would have discussed this video with your attorney because this is not your accountability. It is poor excuses for bad business practices. It may not have been intentional, but even the law punishes should have known actions. And even at 23, you should have known better. Make a video with your attorneys. I will respect that more. Yeah, I agree with, I can't speak on the legal stuff. I'm not a lawyer, but I agree with that last bit there. Brittany Dawn may not have intentionally been deceptive in taking people's money and not delivering on a product or service. Even if it wasn't intentional and even if she wasn't trying to be malicious, you still broke the rule. It's still something that you should not have done and you still should have known better. I don't understand. I don't know, maybe she just wanted to feel vindicated and get this off her chest, but I don't feel like this video did what she wanted it to do for her, because at the end of the day, I agree. You should have known better. You're 23 years old. Yes, 23 is young and dumb. We were all young and dumb at 23. Most of us were. But you still should have known better. I don't know. It's just about having integrity and just about, okay, I am offering a product or service and people are giving me money, so I should deliver on that product or service, right? That doesn't take old wisdom, you know? Okay, another comment says, I can 100% understand that everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has parts of their past they may regret, but what I don't understand is playing victim when you made a mistake. Honest mistake or not, you were not the victim, right? And I also can't understand saying, I'm done, I'm moving forward from this point on. And then in the next breath saying, this will be a 6-part series about it. Oh my God, they're right, I didn't catch that. This just has such a woe is me feel to it. That's right, she did say, I'm done, I'm moving on. And then she's like, there's gonna be a 6-part series. berries. I didn't catch that. This one says, I know how it feels to make mistakes that don't accurately represent yourself as a person and to be judged and evaluated so heavily on those mistakes. Really, all she can do is apologize and pay the fee. What more do you want from her? I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. That comment was kind of, I guess, in a way, vindicating her. Here's another client that says, there is 10,080 minutes in a week. If she had 5,000 clients, as she states in this video, that allows for 2.1 minutes a week per client. So as long as she didn't eat or sleep or do anything else, there is a reason personal trainers can't take on thousands of clients at once. Thank you. Taking people's money for a service you know is impossible to provide is not ignorance. It's intention. Thank you. I believe that she didn't do this to be like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna be a bad person, but I just really don't buy it when she was just like, well, I made a mistake. I already said this during my video. You can't give 5,000 people your full undivided attention. Like, that's beyond making a mistake. You're just being stupid. All right, let's read one more. I'm getting tired. Honestly, I appreciate the transparency, but this was not a mistake. A simple, I'm sorry, I'm dumb, and was just trying to make money would have sufficed. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that would have been plain and simple. She blatantly sold quote unquote customized plans to clients that were not customized at all, and that's only one of the issues. It's not about not knowing how to run or own a business or being young. This is one of those, I'm sorry, but apologies, and it's just not landing. However, I understand people can grow and learn from the past. I hope you're able to honestly accept what you did and move forward. You're not the victim in this. I appreciate you being as open as you could be in this moment. Yeah, okay. So there it is. I don't know. She said that she said there was going to be more. She said there's going to be a 6-part series. What more could you possibly say? I have no idea. I don't see myself reacting to every single video that she puts out about this. I mean, my last Brittany Dawn video was like 2 years ago. Yeah, so I just thought that this would be a interesting to watch, since I did make a video of the initial coverage of the situation. So if you made it to this point, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this, hit the like button. If you want to see more content that's not exactly like this, but I guess similar to this, then why not hit the subscribe button and join the lemonade stand? We've got a lot of fun stuff here. Thank you once again for watching, if in fact you did. And yeah, so like I said, my camera died, so I can't go and film my dogs. So I'll put I don't know, I'll do something. There's gonna be dogs something. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Queen Lemon, over and out.